Hello. Hi. Hi and welcome. So nice to have you here. Today's experiment is how fast can I go from having a thought of something that I want to talk about, writing that down while I'm sitting in the car because it's pouring down rain like there's never been rain before, and writing that down, finding a pocket in time where it seems to be not raining as much, running to the office, recording this, and publishing it, and how fast does the whole process take, and what kind of quality can I expect from the short time frame that I give myself. So I had an idea about doing something about the design system because it's kind of talk of the town in what I work with, and it's actually getting some gaining some momentum also higher up in the echelons of business. Let me jump in here to actually a kind of an old report. It has a few years on its back. But this report is about it's a report regarding how people work with design, or how organizations work with design, and so it's kind of interesting to see that. And this one it's actually from Envision, one of the prototyping businesses, SaaS performance businesses that are doing quite well. They have a few services and some products in the design space. But what they did was they did a wide-ranging report that examines design's impact on business. And so let's just run down here to what I find most important, because I work as a strategic designer and most people don't know what that is, and it sounds like I'm trying to peddle snake oil. So for everyone questioning what is strategic design even a thing, let me just show you what I mean by it. And so in this study first off, I mean, they tell you that why you should take this report seriously is because it's a very serious report, and it is. They really did talk to a lot of organizations and companies, a lot of different industries. But let's get to the good stuff, because this is why I still pursue a career in this. Why I think this is so important is because it's only very, very few organizations that utilize the power of design in the right way. And I think it's on page 11. We actually get some, here we go. So few benefits the most. So that's the headline. A select group of companies are receiving the most value from design for business. Although nearly 80% of companies include design on projects, often or almost always, just 5% are empowering design for the greatest benefits. And what does that mean? Well, we can see that if we put them in different tiers, which they have done in this report because they're smart people, you have the level 1, which is producers, you have the connectors on level 2, level 3 is architects, level 4 is scientists, level 5 is visionaries, and that's only 5% of companies are utilizing design to shape the future of their organization. And if we go down to the actual report here, what kind of impact do design have on their growth? You can see the X value here is for the revenue, 4 times the revenue for level 5 companies, the ones that help use design to start with the highest form of strategic planning, which is what's the vision for a company, for our products. And so you can see versus, the people only using it for production, you have 2 different measures here. So you have the level 1s and the level 5s. And level 5s, they see 4 times on revenue, 5 times on cost savings, 6 times the speed, time to market, which is a very important thing for almost any organization. And then for valuation, you have 26 times the value if you use designers, strategic designers, helping form everything from the strategic vision and down to how to make a relearning organization. So one of the most important tools in design in recent years is the design system. So today we're going to talk about the design system. So what is the design system? And this is the thing. The design system is, I like to say that it's the first chapter in the book of the relearning organization. So it's the headline of the first chapter. And so what it is at its basest form is that it's You have icons, you have fonts, you have colors. You build this into a system, and you can change stuff, and it will replicate all over the system, right? So it's basically, if you know your front-end code, it's basically like you have a CSS for the whole branding guidelines, if you will. And if you change it at one place, it will scale to everything else. So in the ideal world, this would be if you're designing apps for different sizes or different formats, then you can change something up at one place, and then that through all thousands of screens that you've been working on in your organization, it's replicated there. So that's the basis of the design system. It's making it more efficient to work with design. Now, the design system has grown since then, but the design system in itself cannot become more than a design system. So that's why I say the design system is the, like the first headline in the first chapter of the book of the relearning organization. And it doesn't have to be the first chapter, but as we're talking from the design perspective here, let's say that it is. It might as well be chapter 3 after learn how to do SEO. But it doesn't matter. The important thing here is that the design system is only the first, and then you have a lot of things that must come into place to get smarter. You there's design system is very valuable, but the design system is not valuable enough in my book. So let's go to what's the next step of that. And I would say that it is. I don't know if there's any real word for this yet, but I call it the innovation system. And the innovation system, let's just copy this system. Yeah, I got an extra S, that's cool. And we have innovation system. And what the innovation system does differently is that it connects code with the design. So it becomes a functioning system. It's not necessarily connected to the real content yet, but it's work. You can make working prototypes that is one-to-one with how the product would actually feel, right? And so that's the difference with the innovation system versus the design system. It's a drag and drop library for different stakeholders to be able to innovate with. So that is the difference. So code plus design equals innovation. And having that in place is a huge thing. And most organizations really aren't there yet. Some are, I mean, they don't have to listen to my videos. You're doing great. Keep at it. So the point with this, with having the innovation system, is that you can drag and drop flows. You can do so. The states are actually functioning. So if you roll over something with a mouse, something is you will see the micro interactions in the system because it's actually working things. It's not just dead design, it's actually working. All right. And how you want to utilize the innovation system is that you make sure that you provide a canvas where you can create different screens or different flows at whatever granularity you want. And you don't have to be a designer to do this. You don't have to be a coder. You don't have to be a service designer. You're actually whoever who wants to, I think that we need a flow of 3 states. I do 3 states, and those 3, they are 3 pages, or they're 3 validation parts in the process, whatever it is. Everybody can innovate and drag this out and make sure that, and the thing they're doing is how the system actually will look like, because that creates immersion, and immersion makes you connect what's missing much faster than if it's just a wireframe. So if you're able to create the innovation system, which is code plus design, and basically a way for people to utilize it by dragging and dropping and creating flows and discussing this in a somewhat intelligent manner, then you have, leveled up your design system to something more meaningful than just a design system. So that's step 2. Step 1 is design system. Getting to that. Step 2, innovation system, right? Good. We're going quickly through a quick pace. So now that must be it, right? You can't do anything better than this, can you? Yes, you can. I think you can. Let's try it out. So this is when we come to what I would like to call a value system. And, from the innovation system to value system, it's going to become more abstract here, and people can be throwing more darts at my arguments. This is just a work in progress. So let's call it a value system for the sake of separating stuff, right? So this is a value system. Value system. Not STEM. It's not going to be STEM, it's going to be system. Yeah. And the value system, what makes this so interesting, you should be able to connect data streams. So basically, this is when you make the smart things in platforms, you actually put that into your innovation system. So some people might want to just stop with the innovation system, because leveling up from an innovation system to a value system demands quite some effort. Okay, so basically this is when you can connect things into, you have a standardized way to connect things into your innovation system, and you can make sure that the things are actually working for real. So this is like you have your own sandbox functioning innovation system. So you can easily add data points. You can easily connect data streams to each other. You will have you want to be able to data streams. Let's say streams connect. Something like that, right? You can connect them back and forth. You can also do, and what I think is very important is if you can do visualizations of anything from flows to processes. And this can, there's a lot of choices in this one, isn't it? Yeah. Let's go like that. But be able to visualize things. Also, to be able to combine and process information in a standardized way. So you basically, what you want to have here, what you want to have in the background, you want to have some standardized algorithms that you can actually start empowering the organization to invent their own things. So you could look at it as you have your own low code or no code solution, but that is formatted with your own use cases in mind. So now this must obviously be, because we're very quickly reaching like the voodoo arguments, right? Like, and then you should be able to wish for a unicorn, and it wouldn't, like when it cries, it's gold eggs or whatever. I get it. This might seem far-fetched, but I'm saying it doesn't have to be far-fetched. All you need is ambition and have a clear vision of what you're trying to produce. Then this is like a step-by-step thing you could actually be doing. So this is not the final step. The final step for me. And this is just because I thought of this in the car while I was waiting for the rain to stop. So I haven't put years of thought into it. I actually put in, let me see, I actually tracked the now. So I started 13:45. That's a European way of talking about what time it is. 24 hours, with the sun and stuff. So I started 1:45, and I started walking 2:06. So that is 21 minutes of effort to prepping this, the conceptual things. Now I'm drawing it out for you. So that's also taking time, obviously. But the fourth step, as I see it, and I have put 21 minutes into this, some slack. If tomorrow I realize that there's 5 more steps, that's just how it is, right? So what I call this is system as a service. So it's not a service. It's not software as a service. It's system. Let's go. System as a service. Nice. Did you hear that clear tone? I think that was a B flat minor. System as a service. Okay, so what is this then? Well, this is where all the capabilities from the previous versions are still intact. So you can still go and change a module, make it look a bit different, and that would scale into this. You would also make it instance dependable. So if you want to make a new instance of it, you can make this your own, right? So it's basically it's like a white label innovation system that is now also a value system, but you can invite anyone to it. So it's in the clouds, anyone can access it and build their own software as a service system on our meta system, which is the system as a service that we're providing. So that is, as far as I can see, now we're empowering everyone to create their own businesses without having to deal with nagging developers, even more nagging designers. They can just go in, they can have a realization in the car while they're writing down their business proposal, and then the rain stops pouring and they're like, now I'm creating some massive value in a very short amount of time for it, because that was a brilliant idea. And that is what I call the fourth last step of the design system. And this is how I see that the natural state for the design system, where it's going. And I really hope that this is the future of the design system, that we will go to basically a no-code environment. I know it's never going to be no-code, and someone has to code the system as a service code. So there's always be coders. Don't you worry, developers. But to get to the next massive shift, as I see it, is, AI is very interesting, but when it comes from and there's there's the ideas, creative ideas is usually from humans. And this would be a perfect way to empower a much broader spectrum of users than what are empowered right now by technology. And yes, I know that TikTok is very fun and it makes creators of millions of people, and Snapchat and all that stuff. And I think that's great. But maybe not just showing off dance moves, but actually making something a bit more lasting for people would be great for the many people to be able to do. And I think that the system as a service would be the culprit that brings that to the society at large. But then again, if you're the first one to do the system as a service, you might just be a complete asshole and charge super much money for people to give people access. That's your choice. If you're the first one making the system as a service, you're probably charging a ton of money for it. I get it, it's business, but still, I think more people should be working at, not just putting out fires in the small scale, but actually trying to provide have a roadmap to take, really have the vision to go to build the organizations that not only just create great stuff, but really helps everyone become a value generating castle in the clouds. That's it for this presentation. Time is now 14:53, so I think I'm pretty good time wise. So see you next time. If you enjoyed it, like it. If you want to see more, subscribe, and see you next time. Happy to have conducted this experiment with you. Bye.